What's going on, everybody? Garrett with FFLfunnels.com. Quick video for you. We're going to talk about the accountability of daily actions. This is something that I struggle with, so I study it a lot, and I am by far not an expert on it, but I want to talk about it with you guys because I think some of the things that I have learned might be applicable and might be very helpful for you guys on a regular basis. I've spoke about this in the past before, but it's been a minute, so I'm going to circle back around to this. We've talked about inputs versus outputs and lead and lag indicators, and they're both the same thing. And so what I want to focus on here is an example of most dealers are just focusing on the wrong stuff. And when you start to build and really scale a business, you start to learn that the whole key of everything is identifying and attacking bottlenecks. So you identify the bottleneck that your business has, specifically the biggest bottleneck. Not necessarily a ton of different bottlenecks that you try to all attack at once, because then you're going to be spread too thin, and whatever results that you get are going to be mediocre compared to just attacking one major bottleneck at a time. So the biggest bottleneck that most of you actually have is you're not getting enough new and repeat business. That's really what it comes down to. Most of the people that I talk to, now, we have bigger dealers that we work with who have completely different problems, right? We can talk about accountability as far as running a team, inventory management, heavy duty advertising and some really intense SEO stuff. But for most of you, really what it comes down to is you're not doing enough inputs, lead indicators, to actually get the results, the lag indicators, the outputs that you're hoping to get. In your mind, you have a goal of 50K a month, 70K a month, 100K a month, and you want that to be 30% margins or whatever it is. The thing is that you're not doing the things on the input side that it takes to get there. And I know this well because I deal with it in my business. There's a lot of things that I want, goals that I want, and plans that I have that require me to be at a higher revenue number, and I'm still working out how to make that happen. And it's not about how to make more money in the business, it's about how I become the person that does the inputs on a regular basis, and I get the people on my team to do the inputs on a regular basis to achieve those results. So if I'm going to build a house or a wall out of bricks, my lead indicators would be mixing the mortar and laying each brick. I lay one brick, make sure it's good, and then I lay the next. I put mortar down, I lay the next brick. I check it, make sure it's good, I put more mortar down, and I lay the next brick. Those are the inputs, right? That's not the outcome. The outcome is the house or the wall that you build, which is the aggregate of all of those little inputs daily. So let's tie this into something that actually makes sense for you guys in the gun industry. It is, we can say emails, we can say social media, whatever it is. Let's say emails, because I feel like most of you are not doing emails, and that is a problem. A lot of guys are posting on social media. They might not be posting the right stuff, but at least they're posting something, I guess. But generally not consistent with that either. So it could be either or. These are the two where I see the biggest issue. You're not doing the inputs consistently enough to achieve the results that you're after. You want to sell 50K a month, 100K a month, 250K a month, 500K a month. You can get there doing a bunch of different things, but how you're not going to get there is by not doing the inputs. So it depends on what your strategy is. If you're going to get there via running paid advertising or something like that, then it's going to be a lot of inputs as far as creating content, setting up your ads, and running different creatives and split tests on those ads to see which ones get the best results, killing the ones that aren't good, putting the new ones in, etc., right? Now, when we talk about social media or emails like we're going to talk about right here, literally what it comes down to is building out to start building out one template. You don't need multiple templates. Building out one template. You don't even need a fucking template. You can literally just write an email and send it to people. It doesn't have to be this fancy graphic thing. It can literally just be text and then put like one photo in there. I think that's one of the biggest problems is everybody wants it to be perfect before they take any action. And when it's not perfect, they don't take any action, or they do, they send one email and they're like, nobody bought anything. Well, fuck, of course they didn't. You sent one email. You probably have 10 people on your list. Now, caveat, even if you have 10 people on your list, still send the fucking emails. Those people signed up to buy your shit, or to at least hear from you occasionally. So send them your stuff. Aside from that, the point though, with all of this
starting route to planet.
Let me turn down my navigation here. The point of this is to do the inputs, right? So, what does that mean? That means build the template or not template. And let me turn my audio off on my nav altogether. Cool. Build the template or not, and fire out the content. Send it. Send an email. Now, one of the most important things is reviewing the analytics. How did the email do? Did people even open it? That's one of the main things. Did people even open the email? Because if they didn't open the email, it doesn't matter what you put inside of it. That means that a couple things. Maybe you didn't land in the inbox properly. Maybe you need to make some adjustments to make sure that you don't land in the spam box, things like that. Some DNS record settings. Or maybe the title of the email or the preview header that you put sucked and nobody wanted to open it because they could tell it was just a spammy ass email that said buy my shit and they didn't want anything to do with it. So start there. Did people read it? Yes or no? Then what did they do? Did they click something? How many clicks did you get? Did they go to the page? What happened on the page? Check your Google Analytics. Did they add something to the cart? Did they get tagged with an abandoned cart recovery sequence? What happened then? Right? Find the weak point in that system and fix it. That would be the bottleneck. This is a micro bottleneck, not a large bottleneck. Remember, the big bottleneck is that you don't have enough new customers and enough repeat business. But the small bottleneck in this system that we're talking about here could be that maybe people aren't even opening the email, or maybe people are going to the site and maybe they're unable to check out. Maybe your prices are too high. Maybe something's broken, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. But the point is to review what happened, and then when you do the next one, do the fixed thing in the next one, and then review it all over again. And then what you're going to start doing is you're going to start tying the value that you give this whole thing into the inputs and not the outputs. I'm going to give you an analogy because I'm going to the gym right now. Some of you probably go to the gym. Some of you probably don't go to the gym. But I think you all get this. We can do shooting competition, anything like that. The more that you go to the gym, if you do the right shit, the more results that you're going to get. And so the goal is not actually the result. The goal is to go to the gym consistently, because that goal is going to be easier to guarantee than some arbitrary like weight that you're going to hit, some arbitrary look or feeling that you're going to have in your head. That's all shit that you can't control. But what you can control is how many times a week do you go to the gym? How many times a week do you pull the trigger on your gun, on your competition gun? What, how often are you training? That's something that you can control. And so when we go back to the email, the social media, whatever it is, the marketing in general, this is something that you can control, which is an input. And if you can control it, and we know that if we do that input consistently enough and we continue to iterate on it, aka make it better, eventually it's going to start to work. And once it starts to work, then what you can do is use that formula to do more of it. Once you find out what works, then you can scale it by adding more volume. So you find one email that absolutely crushes it. You figure out what happened. Oh, okay. It's because I used this headline, this photo, this button, and this landing page. Whatever the sequence of everything looks like, duplicate it, run another product that's also hot or whatever that might look like, and get to a place where you can replicate that. And then what happens is you are going to start to get repeatable results based on the inputs that you put in. So the reason that I'm bringing this all up, the reason that I'm walking you guys through this, is because the number one problem that I see with all these dealers that have that bottleneck of not enough new customers and not enough return customers is because they're not doing the work that it requires for them to get the result. So then they go and they want to chase a new shiny object. Maybe we should try billboards. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. Fuck, if you just literally added people on Facebook every single day and showed them your shit and DM'd them and said, hey, thank you for being my friend on Facebook. It looks like you're into guns. What do you shoot? If you did that every day, if you messaged on Facebook 50 people per day, instead of doing all the other shit that you do all day, you would have more business than you ever would need. 50 people per day, every single day, right? That's called doing outbound direct messaging. There's so many different ways to do it, guys, but what it comes down to is the inputs versus the outputs. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. And that's the biggest problem. Is everybody wants to look jacked. Nobody wants to go to the fucking gym. Everybody wants the money. Nobody wants to send the fucking emails. If it was that easy, if you could just turn a Facebook ad on or post once a week on social media and the money would just rain from the heavens, everybody would do it. And here's the thing. It used to be like that. Google SEO used to be fucking easy. Facebook ads used to be really fucking easy. It used to be really easy to be the only shop in town and get all the business. Shit changes. It's getting harder. And if you guys don't increase your inputs, the outputs that you're after are not going to happen. So I'm here to not sugarcoat this shit. I'm here to give you guys real, practical, and actionable business advice. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do in every minute detail, but I need you guys to take this information and apply it and do the fucking work. Because if not, you're going to get left in the dust. And as the economy changes and gets worse or better, whatever comes up, and we start having robots that are serving us meals at restaurants and shit like that, shit's going to fucking change. And what I can tell you right now is advertising is going to get more expensive, and it's going to get harder and harder to get customers because people are going to places like Palmetto and some of these other ones, some of our clients, who show them a good experience, have good prices, have good follow-up systems, have good marketing, have good brand presence, right? They come off as an authoritative figure. They come off as somebody who is trustworthy, respectable, has a killer looking and operating system. People are going to shop with them again and again and again, and they're going to stop shopping with places that have shitty gear fire and ammo ready and homemade websites and things like that. I hope this is helpful. Not here to be the bearer of bad news. Just want to give you guys the real actionable shit that's going to change your business. Do the input. Well, start over. Figure out what result you want. What output are you after? Then figure out what the actual inputs are that get that result. Not that you think might get that result. What are the actual inputs that cause that result? If I want to get jacked, I got to go to the gym. I got to eat clean. I got to sleep good. Those are the three things. So I'm going to add that in my calendar, right? I'm literally going to the gym right now. It's 4:21 on a Monday. I got to get in an hour. I got to go back. I have calls after this, right? Put in the work that you know is going to get you the result and tie everything into the work, not necessarily just the result. Hope this is helpful. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.